Well, hello there. My name is Benson. In this topic video, I'm telling about conditional sentence. Did you know what are conditional sentence? Conditional sentence are statements discussing known factors or hypothetical situations with their consequences. Exactly, with their consequences after we decide and do something either directly or indirectly. There are four types of conditional sentence. First type of conditional sentence is type 0. This type expresses general truth situations in which one thing always causes another. To use this sentence, the structure of this type 0 is if clause and main clause, which both of them using simple present tense form. For example, if it rains, it is wet. Is it obvious, right? Yes, it is obvious. Or next one, if you don't brush your teeth, you get cavities. It is true, according to medical literature. Or the last example, if RNA polymerase transcribes DNA into mRNA, gene expressions forms protein. This is fact according to biological. Easy, right? So in this type 0 telling us about of truth situations and it is obvious. Second types of conditional sentence is type 1. Type 1 of conditional sentence is used to express situations in which outcomes is likely to happen in the future. It is not guaranteed, but it might be happen. To use this sentence, we using structure if clause and main clause again, but in the if clause we using simple present tense and main clause we using future simple tense. For example, if you study hard, you will pass the test, meaning that we don't know what will happen if you take the test, but if you study, you will get a good chance to passing of the test, just like that. Or next example is, if Mail is free this weekend, he will go with us. Or next example, the last example, if you cook dinner, I will wash the dish. Easy, right? So type 1 is telling us about that this sentence refers to suggestions. So it depends on us which one will we decide and act it. So before it happens, this sentence gives advice before we act. Next type of conditional sentence is type 2. Type 2 conditional sentence is useful for expressing outcomes that are completely unrealistic. It means that outcomes will not likely happen in the future. The structure of this sentence is if clause and main clause, which in the if clause using simple past tense and main clause using will and verb 1. For example, if I were rich, I would buy a fancy house. This example means that in fact I'm not a rich guy, but I am imagine that I rich and I want buy a fancy house. But in reality I'm not a rich guy. Or next example, if I knew the answer, I would tell it to you. The reality is I don't know the answer, so I'm not telling the answer to you. Or the last example, if you studied hard, you will pass the test. So this type conditional sentence refers to expectations because in real conditions, in real life, it is not really happen. just like that. Last type of conditional sentence is type 3. Type 3 conditional sentence is used to explain that present circumstance would be different if something had happened in the past. To use this sentence, we're using if clause and main clause, which is if clause using simple past tense forms and main clause using subject plus would have plus verb 3 or verb past participle. For example, if you had woke up earlier in the morning, you would have come to school on time. This sentence expressed a condition that was likely enough but didn't actually happen in the past, meaning that speaker was capable waking up early but did not. Next example, if you had a gold medal, you would have been happy. The reality is this sentence means that speakers or I am not happy because I don't get a gold medal. Or the last one, if you had studied hard, you would have passed the test. This sentence that speaker failed the test because speaker didn't study. Easy, right? This is table structure for using types of conditional sentence to help us how to use each type conditional sentence properly.